For those of you who are new to the channel, which is probably going to be most of you, this is not a topic I would usually cover in one of my videos. In fact, this was actually supposed to be a video about Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. This was supposed to be a more in-depth review of the game after completing it, as the first one was just based on a 3-hour demo. But some of the comments in my previous video, and also many other review videos, had me a bit confused. So instead of the regular overview/review style video, I thought we'd try something different. First of all, let me say, I hate talking politics in games. In fact, I hate talking politics in general. Main reason being, I don't have a firm grasp on the matter. I tend to gloss over articles covering anything political in the gaming space. Also, I'm not the best person to be discussing these kind of matters. There's way more articles and channels out there that are more knowledgeable on these things. But I thought I'd give you my take on the discourse surrounding this game. It's not something that comes up in all Flintlock videos, but it's definitely prevalent on smaller channels where people tend to just say what they want to. On top of that, I should mention that as the video progresses, it goes beyond just the game and it talks more in general about the topic at hand. I just thought I'd let you know. If at this point you have no idea what I'm alluding to, then good for you, really. And if you do, then you know I'm talking about Sweet Baby Inc.'s inclusion in the development of this game. I used to fall into that former group of blissful ignorance, but the comments on my previous video had me forced to take a crash course on the matter, with people calling the game woke and avoiding it like the plague apparently. For those of you who don't know, Sweet Baby Inc. is basically a consultation studio that assists game developers to create more diverse and inclusive games. And for the record going forward, I'm going to refer to them as SBI because I mentioned it way too many times, and I'm not going to say Sweet Baby Inc. over and over again. Firstly, I'm pretty sure Flintlock doesn't credit SBI at any point, and having played through the game, I can't say there's anything there pushing this woke agenda people keep mentioning. Then again, maybe I'm not looking out for that kind of thing. Look, I'm not advocating for SBI. In fact, my knee-jerk reaction to hearing about these companies is, why do they even exist in the first place? Then I flash back to a black dude in the game with a blonde bob cut and I think to myself, this looks a bit unnatural. Maybe the devs don't know exactly what they're doing. That's why proper representation is extremely important. It's not just about giving your character the option to change their skin color, it's more than that. In certain cases, I do believe consultation teams like SBI are necessary. That being said, I don't have a problem with SBI, but I will say they are doing a great job of undoing any positive impact a company like theirs could be making. SBI has been open about some of their scummy business practices and how they sometimes manipulate the devs to get what they want. Look, at the end of the day, it really comes down to the people at the head of these companies, whether it be SBI or A44 Games, the creators of Flintlock, making decisions on behalf of a name. And we as consumers are encouraged to speak with our wallets, so we don't support practices we don't agree with. That's perfectly fine. But there has been a lot of discourse surrounding the game's woke agenda, and this has obviously hurt the game's reputation. So in turn, we have voted with our wallets to damn a studio that has not been given a fair chance. A studio whose employees probably had no say as to what decisions were made at the top. The sad part is, we might see A44 shut down in the near future, and a small part of that will be our fault. Obviously, releasing a mediocre game with low sales will be the main contributing factor, but there's no denying we would have played a small part in that game's downfall. I've seen videos post-release calling the game things like woke slop and declaring it dead on arrival. If you have played the game, you know that this is bullshit, as I'm pretty sure the devs had walked back most of the changes SBI made on their game. Yes, they did work together at some point, but A44 does not credit them in any way. I imagine the direction SBI were going did not match A44's vision, so people screaming SBI ruined another game is simply spreading misinformation. Yes, they did ruin it in a sense by A44 even associating with SBI in the first place, but saying SBI ruined it implies they've already got their grubby little mitts on it and injected their ideals into the game. This is simply not true. This is my biggest issue I have with the discourse surrounding the game. While there are games out there that are pushing some sort of agenda, I don't believe that this is one of them. The funny part is that I'm trying to defend the reputation of a game I consider it to be a 6 or a 7. It's by no means a great game. It's okay or good at best. But let that be the reason you skip this game, and not because the main character is a person of color. In one of the videos I saw, the reviewer pointed out that there's only one white character in the traveling crew, which made me laugh because A, is there some white character quota that dictates whether a game is woke or not? And B, tokenism has been around for generations in all forms of media. I mean, even South Park has a black character named Token as a joke about black representation in media. What made me laugh is how the reviewer chose this example to be outraged about the matter. I think most of us sit in a space where we look at a game and just ask if the game is good or not. Diversity and inclusivity tends to go unnoticed, but as soon as it becomes forced, we express our outrage. The real issue is, what is considered forced? Evidently, everybody has their own idea of what is too much. For some, it might just be a gay scene in the 3rd episode of a critically acclaimed series, missing out on one of the best video game TV adaptations we've ever seen. To others, having a person of color as the main character is that threshold. Personally, I'm someone who doesn't really bother too much about diversity and inclusion in games, but I'm not completely oblivious to the discussions regarding the topic. The way I see it is, people in general are all for diversity and inclusion, provided it comes across as natural and not just ticking boxes on a list. The problem is the extremists on either side of the argument, both saying some unruly shit and undoing the progress of those that genuinely wish for better representation. What's funny is, as an Indian dude, I can't name 3 cool Indian characters from any video games. Would I like to see more Indian characters in games? Sure, why not? Do I need them shoehorned into a game simply to tick a diversity box? Fuck no. Okay, this one's getting a bit long in the tooth, but let me know what you guys think. Am I being too naive, or is there really something here pushing an agenda? If there is something there, maybe I'm just not looking out for it, possibly. But that's gonna do it for the game itself. Maybe in the future I'll have more to say about Flintlock, but we'll leave it there for now. Talking in general though, the way I see it, the gaming space was initially dominated by and marketed to straight white males. But as it grows, there's no denying that we are seeing more diversity in both creators of the games and players. So obviously we're going to see more diversity in our games as a result. We need to work at our knee-jerk reaction to seeing things from outside our comfort zone make it into our media. Because whether we like it or not, equality is the future. God, just saying that sounds so cheesy. And I'm not talking about our lifetime, I'm talking generations and generations into the future. Because honestly, it ain't happening anytime soon. By the way, I'm not excluding myself from any of this. I am part of the problem. I shouldn't even call it a problem, it's more of a topic of conversation. As someone who usually sits on the sidelines while these discussions are being had, I have my own biases. But that simply comes from years of conditioning in a life lived in a way that is unique to me. A life that is considered normal to me but not to the next person. So when we see people from other walks of life, we gotta remember that to them, they see normal, where we see something that is completely alien to us. Look, there's a lot more to be said here, but I don't think I should be the one saying it. There's definitely better people out there who are more educated on the matter. I will say, people like me who claim that the only thing that matters is how well written the character is, that cannot be true, not completely. There's no way you can be completely unbiased in any way. That would make you the perfect person, which I don't believe there is one. But I will say, you're doing a fucking amazing job of simply keeping the peace and just being accepting and open. But hey, me sitting here singing Kumbaya is not gonna make anyone change their minds about how they feel. In fact, I'm not asking you to take sides. I'm simply asking to be more understanding. So just to reiterate, this is my point of view as someone who never engages in these conversations. I thought I'd challenge myself by stepping out of my comfort zone in keeping with today's theme. One thing I do ask of you is if you're gonna comment, please keep it respectful down there. Well, that's it for this one. I want to thank you if you made it this far. I don't know, let me know in the comments what you think. If it gets too heated, I'm probably gonna disable the comments. I went back and forth so many times on this video. I wasn't sure if I should even put it out. I thought I'd just test myself, put myself out my comfort zone like I mentioned. But going forward, I don't think I would ever cover something like this again, considering it's such a divisive topic. But I don't know, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.